Alright guys, my name is Shervin. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the best no-fee credit cards in Canada, the Rogers Mastercard. Now, this is a card that is offering some of the highest cashback rates in Canada for no annual fee whatsoever. Now, unlike the other Rogers card, the Rogers World Elite, it doesn't have any minimum income requirements for qualifying for it. But in order to get some of the highest cashback rates that this card is offering, you do need to qualify for them in some way. So definitely make sure to watch the end of the video to find out exactly how you can qualify for the highest cashback rates and whether or not this is a card that is worth having for you, depending on whether you qualify for those rates or not. Now, as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the subscribe button down below and join the community. I make new videos about personal finance and investing on a regular basis, and by subscribing to the channel, you get to see all my new videos right as they come out. Also, if you enjoy the video and want to support me even more, then do me a favor and smash the like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. But alright, with all that said, let's get right into how this card works. Now, for those who qualify for the higher rates, and we'll talk about how you qualify in a minute, you will get 2% cash back on every purchase that you make with the card, and as long as you redeem it for certain things, that'll go up by 1.5 times, which means that you're essentially getting 3% cash back on everything. Now, for everyone else who don't qualify for those higher rates, you will get 2% cash back on any purchases made in US dollar and 1% cash back on all other purchases. Now, while these are good, they're obviously nowhere near as good as 3% value back on everything. So if you want to go for this card, you want to make sure you qualify for those higher rates, because that's what makes this card worth having. But now the question is, how exactly do you qualify for those higher rates? Now, in order to get 2% cash back on every purchase that you make, you need to have some service provided by either Rogers, Fido, or Shaw. This can be your cell phone plan, this can be your home internet, your cable, your home telephone, etc. As long as you have at least just one service provided by one of those three providers, then you will receive 2% cash back on everything with this card. Now, you might be asking, well, wait a second, I thought you mentioned something about 3%. What is all this 2% talk? Now, as I mentioned before, if you spend the cash back that you've earned on specific things, you will get 1.5 times more value out of them. So it'll almost be like you got 3% value back in the first place. And what are those? Well, the same services that I talked about. As long as you're using your cash back to pay for those services, you can use them at 1.5% time more value than what they actually are. For example, if you, let's say, earned $20 in cash back, and let's say you have a cell phone plan with Fido, then if you use your cash back to pay for that cell phone plan, your cash back will pay $30 off of that bill instead of just $20. So if you just spend that cash back on those services, which if you have one, you have to pay them anyways, then it's almost like you earned 3% cash back all the way through, because you basically get to take that 2% cash back and you get 1.5 times more when you're redeeming it. So this basically means that if you have any plans with Rogers, Shaw, or Fido, you're effectively getting 3% value back from this card on every single purchase that you make. Now, 3% cash back on everything for a no-fee card is absolutely crazy. Now, there are some cards that offer a little bit more on just specific categories, but nothing outside of that. For example, there's the Simply Financial Visa card, which offers 4% back at restaurants and bars. But that's it. With that card, you only get 4% back at restaurants and bars and nowhere else. Now, there are also some fee cards where you pay a fee, let's say $100 a year, $200 a year, what have you, to get higher rates as well. But for a no-fee card, 3% back on everything is absolutely insane. In fact, the closest any other no-fee card comes to competing with this card is the Amex Simply Cash card. And that card offers 1.25% back on everything and 2% back on groceries and gas. Other than that, there's no other card that has no fee that offers anywhere near as 3% on everything. So in that sense, it's a very good card to have specifically for any odd purchases that you make. Anything that doesn't fall into one of those big categories is now covered for a high cashback rate by pretty much any cards. So for those kinds of purchases, that's where this card really shines, because it gets you much higher cashback than any other card will ever get you. And if you have enough of those, you can probably pay a big portion of your cell phone plan, your Wi-Fi, or maybe even pay it entirely just with the cashback you get from this card. So if you already have a service with either Rogers, Fido, or Shaw, this card is an absolute must-have. And if you don't already have a service with any of these, you can consider switching over whenever your contract runs out, because usually when you switch over from one company to another on your Wi-Fi or your cell phone plan or whatever, you usually get a lot of discounts and offers in the first year because they want to make sure they attract you as a customer and they steal you away from their competitor. So whenever your contract runs out with your current service providers, you can get double the reward for switching over to another company, because not only are you going to get all those discounts and offers in the first year, which makes it a lot cheaper for you to get the new service, but you can now also get this card and take maximum advantage of it. So definitely something to consider for anyone who doesn't have a current service with one of these companies, but your current contract is coming to an end very soon. But of course, for everyone who do already have a service, you definitely have to check this card out. You will not regret it. Now, as always, if you do want to check out the card and consider applying for it, I will leave my referral link down in the description below, where if you click on that link, it'll take you right to the Rogers website, and you'd also be supporting the channel in the meantime, which I always appreciate. But even if you don't want to support the channel, that's totally fine as well. Definitely check out the card though. It's a very good card and I highly recommend it. Now that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you haven't done so already, make sure to smash the subscribe button down below and join the community. Feel free to follow me on social media. I'm on X and Instagram at Shervin House. As always, if you have any questions about any of the stuff that we talked about in this video, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. I always respond to every single question that comes in. And now with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.